Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Winter Crash. Merry Christmas to all of you out there. Hopefully you guys all had a very safe and Merry Christmas. I just got home from visiting with the family. It was a great day overall, but even on Christmas, the Call of Duty news never stops. The drama never stops, and Activision cannot stop messing up. It's actually getting ridiculous. So I wanted to have some Winter Crash gameplay for the footage here today. I want to be reminded of a time when COD was on the upswing as compared to the downward spiral it's been on over the course of the past couple of years, because like the title suggests, today, an ex-Call of Duty dev exposed why Call of Duty is so bad right now, and this is going to be coming in from a guy named Justin Taylor. On his profile, it says marketing consultant, advisor, and investor, previously worked at WWE, Twitter, Nike, and Activision. And let's just jump right into it here. If you want to know why Call of Duty has so many more hacking issues than any other game, I'll tell you. I worked at Activision for 4 years. Super simple. You have 3 studios, Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, and Treyarch, who don't want to work together, who basically start from scratch on the game each year. They haven't been building and making one product like Apex Legends, Fortnite, Valorant, or etc., and improving on the product over time. So every year, you're buying a new product, and by the time they figure it out, a new studio with a new Call of Duty launches. So there you guys have it, straight from the horse's mouth. Somebody who worked at Activision for 4 years puts in his 2 cents as to why Call of Duty is so down bad every single year and why these devs are not working well together. I mean, talk about a Christmas present here to the community, kind of exposing what's happening behind the scenes at Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Activision. What's crazy about a lot of this is the Call of Duty development cycle has changed so much over the years, and it seemed like back when things were simpler, it was better. It was just Infinity Ward and Treyarch, right? They each had 1 to 2 years to make their game, and whenever they pushed out like a new idea, like a new mode, or maybe a new feature, they seemed to share that between the two of them. Like, for example, in Call of Duty 4, which this game is a remaster of, in that game, when they made Prestige mode and things like weapon camos and create a class, well, Treyarch had the exact same thing with their game, World at War, the very next year. And then over the course of like Modern Warfare 2, the original Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2, they would occasionally borrow ideas and features from each other's games, and everything kind of worked together, but they still had their own distinct flavor. You know, the Modern Warfare games felt a lot different than the Black Ops games, for example. But when they started adding in this entire idea of a 3-year development cycle by adding in another developer, that's when it started to seem like they don't work together really well at all, despite Activision claiming that the devs are working closer than ever before. I think when they said that, it basically just means they're all working on the same engine because they have to make everything work with Warzone, because when you look at each individual game, they don't carry over the same functionality or features or quality of life improvements that the last game had. The good example of that would be this year with Black Ops 6. The events have been met with lots of controversy, mostly due to AI, which we will be covering some more AI stuff here in this video today, because of course on Christmas they have to use AI, and there has to be an AI debacle here within the COD franchise. But the events here in Black Ops 6 are nowhere near as good as what we had last year during Modern Warfare 3. The Modern Warfare 3 events were really fun. They gave you unique camos, aftermarket parts. There was lots of different weekly challenges for you to go through. They were good, yet we don't have any of that here within Black Ops 6 because the 2 studios are not really working all that closely together, or if they are, they're building their game from scratch essentially and never envisioned that feature being in their game, and therefore they just write it off and say, you know what, screw it, we're not going to have that this year. I also think there's going to be some pushback in the comments. People always claim that COD is the same game every single year, and that's kind of true to an extent because now it's always built off the same engine, but COD was never always the same game. It used to actually be quite different, and a good example of that would be Call of Duty World War II and then Call of Duty Vanguard. Those games were what, 4 or 5 years apart? They were both World War II titles developed by Sledgehammer Games, and they are so night and day different. All the cool stuff that we had essentially back in World War II, that went away with Vanguard because Vanguard had to get Warzone-ified essentially. It just felt like a hollow shell. The game really didn't have any soul whatsoever, especially when directly compared to their previous World War II title that came out a few years prior. Call of Duty cannot keep this up if they want to be successful moving forward. Even with the Christmas bump, I mean, a lot of people are saying like, you know, Black Ops 6's player count numbers are not that big of a deal. People are waiting to get the game for Christmas. Like, there's gonna be a big bump and everything like that. Well, with the Christmas bump, Black Ops 6 has still lost nearly 40% of its players over the course of the last month on Steam. Looking at the average players here, the boost that Call of Duty got with the launch of Black Ops 6 is all pretty much gone at this point. And for context here, Modern Warfare 3 actually gained players during December in 2023, and Modern Warfare 2 lost players in December of 2022. So essentially, in their respective years, Black Ops 6 lost 38% of its players, Modern Warfare 3 gained 8% more players, and Modern Warfare 2 lost 20% of its players. That is pretty freaking crazy to think about. Like, Modern Warfare 2 was not well received really whatsoever, and Black Ops 6 has lost nearly double the amount of players that game did. That alone should show you how bad of a state Black Ops 6 is in currently, and you can't just say that they lose players every single December, because they didn't last year. Modern Warfare 3, they gained players. It was only 8%, but they were still trending upwards, whereas Call of Duty right now is just hemorrhaging players, at least on the Steam platform. And I have heard some people saying that, Steam charts is not that big of a deal. It's not that indicative of the entire player base. Maybe Xbox and PlayStation are a lot more casual, therefore a smaller percentage of people would be leaving the game over there. We're just going off of what we know right now. And if there's this big of a trend on Steam, where there's literally like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of players on Call of Duty alone, if there's that noticeable of a trend on that platform, that is certainly indicative of that same trend probably existing on every other platform. It doesn't just randomly happen on Steam and not on Battle.net, not on Xbox, not on PlayStation. It's going to be to greater or lesser extents, but the same trend is going to be happening, and it's coming down to the yearly Call of Duty money-making cycle. Every single year we talk about it. They release a new game, there's always a bunch of hype, there's always a bunch of hope and potential. Being a Call of Duty fan, let me tell you from experience, is a lot like being a Cleveland Browns fan. Every single year during the offseason, when you have free agency and you have the draft and all that stuff going on, it's the best time of year to be a Browns fan, because at that moment it is nothing but potential. And then they kick the ball off in week 1 and you realize we're right back to where we started. The same thing is true of COD, man. There's always the hype cycle going on. We're hearing about the new features and the new maps and the new modes and all this stuff that's going to be coming out for COD. It's going to be so great. And then when it comes out, we realize, oh no, this still has the same issues that we have pretty much every single year. And like Justin Taylor described in his post there, it's because the developers do not want to work together, and they're essentially building the game from scratch every single year, which is why we lose so many quality of life features going from one game to another. It's why we lose so many features going from one game to another, and fans are getting sick of that vicious cycle. Something else fans are getting sick of, and people are blowing my phone up about this earlier, they're getting sick of AI. AI is a big reason why people are getting pissed off with Black Ops 6 and leaving the game, and it just looks so bad to have a trillion with a T dollar company like Microsoft owning Activision and the COD franchise, and we get slop like this posted to our timelines on Christmas, for crying out loud here. Like, look at these gobblegums, dude. They are straight up 2D. They did not work whatsoever to put some shadowing around the gobblegums or anything. These are clearly just horrible 2D images that were just copy and pasted or AI generated and put together for this image. And what are we even looking at here? Like, is this supposed to be a white table that the stocking that has no texture to it whatsoever is supposed to be sitting on? Look at the curves of this supposed table. It's not even like a perfect circle. Is it supposed to be a giant snowball? Is this an ice ball? Is it an untextured gobblegum? I'll tell you guys what it is. It is absolute AI slop, and that's what they're all wishing us a Merry Christmas with, like, for crying out loud. And then we had this one right here, which was met with even more controversy. It comes from Infinity Ward, and it's kind of interesting. So Infinity Ward, if you go to their Twitter profile, I believe ever since Modern Warfare 2, they made it so nobody can reply to their stuff because it's all completely negative. Like, people were so pissed with Modern Warfare 2 when that game came out, which, by the way, Black Ops 6 is losing twice as many players as that game did. People were so pissed they basically just blocked their entire Twitter account, but they post this image wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and initially this looked like it was AI. I mean, just look at the dude's got 4 fingers, for crying out loud. Like, more AI slop from Call of Duty UK's Twitter as well as the Infinity Ward Twitter, but this one apparently is actually not AI, which is really, really bad and muddies the water so much more. So upon further inspection, apparently there is a 5th finger. It's just not as defined as it possibly should be, and apparently next to the Infinity Ward logo, there's even an artist's signature within the image itself. This just goes to show that most of the stuff in COD is done by AI, but sometimes it's just really bad art, or perhaps a combination of the two. The worst part about this is it's clear that the use of AI is harming everybody involved in this situation. Like, most of the time, we are going to assume that COD stuff is AI unless it looks really good or it has that distinctive made by a human look and feel to it. So there might be a scenario where they hire an actual artist to do something, and then we just all assume that that image is made by AI, and then Activision is sitting there wondering where's the incentive to continue to hire real artists. Even when they do hire real artists, we still think it's AI, because sometimes real artists make stuff that isn't perfect, and then it gets blasted, and it creates this vicious cycle where we just never know what is really AI, what isn't. Is this made by an artist? Is this made by an algorithm somewhere? We never know anymore. It's hurting the actual artists. It's hurting the people trying to implement AI into the COD franchise. It's hurting the player base because we're just getting fed slop over here because Activision has conditioned us so much by their constant use of AI when they create COD that we don't know what is real and what isn't anymore, and we're just going to lean towards it not being real because, let's be honest here, it's freaking Activision we're talking about. So even on a day like Christmas, man, we still have so much controversy going on here within the Call of Duty franchise. Apparently, the Infinity Ward Twitter image was real, although I don't know, I still have reservations about that. But the COD UK Twitter image, oh my god, that was so freaking bad. And then out of nowhere, like what a Christmas gift, a former Activision employee speaking out and blasting Activision for the reason why there's so many hackers and so many cheats and why Call of Duty never seems to work anymore. What a freaking day of news. I don't know about you guys, but I think I need to take a nap after all this. So I'm going to wrap up the video here today. I hope you guys once again had a very safe and Merry Christmas. Hopefully going forward, you guys have a very safe and Happy New Year as well. Thank you for all the support of the channel over the course of 2024. I'm looking forward to a very fun 2025 ahead. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done for the channel. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.